Somewhere in your kitchen right now sits a spice most people only ever use once a year, at the holidays tucked into a jar that gets pushed to the back of the cabinet the rest of the year. It costs pennies, it's been used medicinally for well over 1,000 years across multiple cultures, and it happens to pair with your morning coffee in a way that's genuinely backed by real chemistry. Not magic, not a miracle cure, just two plants whose compounds happen to complement each other. Most people are drinking their coffee in a way that quietly cancels out a meaningful share of its benefit without ever realizing it. Here's what's actually going on beneath the surface of your morning cup, and a simple way to get more out of it starting tomorrow. Coffee isn't just caffeine, even though that's almost all anyone talks about. It's actually one of the richest dietary sources of polyphenols in the average diet, plant compounds with antioxidant properties, and chief among them is chlorogenic acid. Researchers have linked chlorogenic acid to better blood sugar regulation, reduced markers of inflammation, and long-term support for liver health. This isn't a fringe claim, it's well documented in nutrition research, and it's part of why regular coffee drinkers tend to show lower rates of certain metabolic and liver conditions in large population studies, even once researchers account for other lifestyle factors. Clove, meanwhile, is the richest known natural source of a compound called eugenol, a genuinely potent anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial agent. It's been used in dentistry for pain relief for well over a century, applied directly to sore gums and toothaches long before modern painkillers existed, and it continues to be studied today for its antioxidant properties. It's real, evidence-backed stuff. There's no need to exaggerate it into something it isn't to make it worth your attention. Here's the interesting part. Some research on plant compound interactions suggests that when antioxidants like chlorogenic acid and eugenol are consumed together, their combined antioxidant effect can be greater than the sum of either alone. A pattern nutrition scientists sometimes call polyphenol synergy. It's not going to reverse disease overnight, and anyone claiming it will is overselling you, but it's a legitimate, science-grounded reason to actually use that jar of cloves sitting in your cabinet instead of walking past it for another year. Before we get to the method, it's worth talking honestly about what's quietly undermining your coffee's benefits in the first place, because most people are working against themselves without realizing it. Added sugar spikes, insulin, and blunts a meaningful share of the antioxidant effect you'd otherwise get. Milk and cream contain a protein called casein, which can bind to polyphenols and reduce how much your body actually ends up absorbing. Instant coffee loses a significant portion of its polyphenol content during processing compared to freshly brewed. And that syrup and whipped cream drink from your local coffee shop is, chemically speaking, a lot closer to dessert than to the antioxidant-rich beverage coffee is actually capable of being. So here's the method, done properly. Step 1. Take 3 whole dried cloves, not ground, not powdered. Step 2. Add them to a small pot with about 10 ounces of water. Bring to a boil, then reduce heat and simmer gently for 5 minutes, no longer, since prolonged heat can start breaking down eugenol. Step 3. Strain out the cloves. Step 4. Use that clove-infused water to brew your coffee as you normally would, French press, drip, whatever method you use. Step 5. Drink it black, ideally on an empty stomach in the morning, when you're not competing with a heavy meal for absorption. If mornings are too rushed for that, a faster version works too, just less potently. Crush 1 whole clove, drop it into your already brewed black coffee, let it sit for a few minutes, then drink. You lose some extraction compared to the full method, but it's still meaningfully better than a bare clove dropped in whole, which barely releases anything without heat or crushing. A few common mistakes worth avoiding. Don't boil the cloves longer than the recommended window. since eugenol degrades under prolonged heat. Don't drop an uncrushed, unheated clove straight into your cup expecting real extraction. It mostly just adds faint aroma. And try to drink it black. Adding milk, cream, or sugar afterward measurably reduces how much of the polyphenol content your body actually absorbs. If black coffee genuinely isn't for you, a small amount of cinnamon is a better addition than dairy or sugar. A quick note on who should be cautious here. If you're on blood thinners like warfarin or take high-dose aspirin regularly, talk to your doctor before making this a daily habit. Eugenol does have a mild natural anticoagulant effect at meaningful doses, and combining it with other blood-thinning medication isn't something to guess about on your own. And if you deal with active gastritis, ulcers, or significant acid reflux, coffee itself, clove or not, may not be the right choice for you day to day. That's genuinely worth a real conversation with a doctor rather than trying to work around it with home remedies. For most people, though, this is a low-cost, low-risk way to get more out of a habit you already have every single day. 3 cloves, 5 minutes of simmering, 1 cup, turning the coffee you're already drinking into something that's quietly doing a little more for you than caffeine alone ever could. It's not a miracle fix, and no reputable source would ever claim it is, but real, incremental support for blood sugar regulation, inflammation, and liver health sourced from something already sitting in your cabinet is worth 5 minutes of your morning.